Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm New York State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, and I thank you for joining us here today. In far too many communities across New York and all across America, it is clear that there is a crisis of confidence in the ability of local prosecutors to look fairly and impartially in cases in which unarmed civilians are killed during interactions with local law enforcement officers. We've seen this in Ferguson, in Baltimore, and right here in New York. This is not a knock on local prosecutors. This does not mean local prosecutors do not do their jobs. I work all the time with prosecutors throughout the state. The people who are standing with me today have been local prosecutors. I know how hard they work and how deeply committed they are to justice and to equality under the law. But we cannot ignore the crisis of confidence we are now facing, because the American system of justice is dependent on public confidence that we are a nation based around the principle of equal justice under law, that we are a nation in which there is one set of rules for everyone, and that you can go to local law enforcement and you can go to a local prosecutor and you will get fair and equal treatment. That perception has been lost. As Felix Frankfurter, famous Supreme Court justice, once said, justice must satisfy the appearance of justice. The American people must be able to see that our system provides one set of rules for everyone. And that is why in December, I called on Governor Cuomo to designate our office, to designate me as special prosecutor, to investigate cases in which an unarmed civilian dies as a result of some interaction with a local law enforcement officer, to give me that authority on a temporary basis while he and the legislature worked to craft a long-term solution. They made an effort, and I think a lot of people put a lot of time into making an effort to craft a solution in this legislative session that just ended. They were not successful. So yesterday the governor did in fact issue the executive order designating me as special prosecutor to handle cases in which unarmed civilians die as a result of an encounter with a law enforcement officer, or cases in which there's a serious question as to whether or not the civilian was armed or dangerous. I take this assignment extremely seriously, and I can assure you that my office will handle these cases with the highest level of care, professionalism, and independence. To that end, I'm here today to announce the team of attorneys that will lead our new Special Investigations and Prosecutions Unit, which is the unit that will carry out the mandate of the executive order. Our team is made up of some of the most dedicated, honest, and effective attorneys I've ever had the pleasure to work with, and heading up the team will be Alvin Bragg, standing here to my left. Alvin is a veteran prosecutor who currently serves as my office's Executive Deputy Attorney General in charge of all of the bureaus in our Social Justice Division. Alvin has an outstanding record on a wide variety of complex criminal cases. As an Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Criminal Division for the Southern District of New York, he investigated and prosecuted a wide range of cases, including bribery of elected officials, money laundering, armed robbery, and witness tampering, to name a few. As the head of my office's Social Justice Division, Alvin has been a leader in our office's work on civil rights and issues of fairness in the criminal justice system. He has the precise combination of skills, judgment, and experience needed to lead this new unit, and he has my full commitment and confidence that he will lead them with diligence and integrity. Now, Alvin is going to be backed up by several more of my office's most experienced and accomplished attorneys, including Paul Klein, who works in our Albany office. Paul was the Albany County District Attorney from 2001 to 2004 and served as Assistant DA there for 14 years. He's presented over 700 cases to grand juries, including scores of homicides. He himself has tried 15 homicide cases. Wanda Perez-Maldonado, another member of the team, is an Assistant Attorney General in our Public Integrity Bureau, where she investigates and prosecutes official misconduct and fraud. For 7 years, Wanda served as an Assistant District Attorney in the Bronx County DA's Investigations Division. While she was there, she conducted more than 100 investigations into allegations of excessive force and misconduct by members of the New York City Police Department and the New York City Department of Corrections. Diane LaValle, who is here with us, who works out of our Buffalo Regional Office, serves in my Criminal Enforcement and Financial Crimes Bureau. During her career, she has handled more than 24 homicide investigations. Notably and remarkably, just last year, she successfully prosecuted a cold case, a homicide that had gone unsolved for more than 25 years. For nearly a decade, Diane also ran a unit in the Attorney General's office that helped counties with the prosecution of death penalty cases and other complicated murder cases. And finally, Gail Heatherly, who heads my office's Conviction Review Bureau, who already works with local law enforcement agencies across the state all the time to help ensure that innocent people are not punished for crimes they did not commit. Gail brings decades of experience in criminal prosecutions. She spent more than a decade as a senior prosecutor in the New York County District Attorney's Office, where she worked on homicides and sex crimes cases. I'm incredibly proud of this team, and I know that they will see this work through with the utmost integrity. When I stood with advocates and public officials from across the state back in December, I spoke about the urgent need to stop the erosion of public trust around these cases. We will continue to work with the governor, the legislature, with our colleagues, the district attorneys of the state, and with reform advocates to craft a long-term solution to this problem. But until such a resolution is achieved, my office will carry out the assignment that the governor has given us with the highest possible degree of integrity and care. And now I want to say a few words in Spanish about today's announcement. Muchas comunidades han perdido la confianza en nuestro sistema de justicia. Hoy estamos anunciando un equipo de veteranos fiscales para investigar casos de civiles desarmados que mueren a manos de la policía. And now I want to introduce Alvin Bragg, who will be running the new Special Investigations and Prosecutions Unit. Alvin.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. It's an honor to serve alongside you. In particular, I'm humbled by this appointment, and I'm humbled by the gravity of the cases that we're being called upon to investigate. The Attorney General talked a bit about my background. I believe deeply in public service. I've devoted myself to the enforcement of this country's and the state's laws. And in all of my prior investigations, I've been guided by one fundamental principle, which is to follow the facts wherever they may lead. And that is exactly what I intend to do with this new appointment. In short, with any and all investigations that come up with the new unit, I will follow the facts, and I will do so without fear or favor. The Attorney General also talked about other members of the team that he's assembled. I want to echo his remarks. This is a team of career prosecutors, men and women who've served over the years with great dedication, great commitment to justice, and they are of the highest caliber, intelligence, and integrity. And it's another reason that I'm honored to take on this appointment to work with members of this great team. So I wanted to be brief, and in closing, I just want to thank the Attorney General for his leadership of the office, for his leadership on critical criminal justice issues, and for assembling this team so that we can join him in taking on this incredibly important work. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. I do want to emphasize that this is a group of prosecutors who are forming the new Special Investigations and Prosecutions Unit, but we are prepared to devote whatever resources are necessary to this. We have dozens of other prosecutors, and we have investigators, prosecutors, and offices all across the state of New York. Our office is uniquely equipped to deal with statewide issues. And the person who coordinates all of the activities of our criminal division across the state of New York, who is really the person who's going to be working the most closely with me to ensure that the new unit gets all the support it needs from the lawyers and investigators and technicians throughout our office in every division of this, the Attorney General's office, is the head of the criminal division, Kelly Donovan.
Thank you, Attorney General Schneiderman. The criminal division here at the Attorney General's office has over 115 of some of the most talented and experienced prosecutors in the state. These prosecutors take on tough cases each and every day. They know how to investigate tough issues, build strong cases, and see those cases to trial. The team the Attorney General has assembled for the Special Investigations and Prosecutions Unit includes several of the best and brightest in our office and in my division. I would like to wish my best wishes and confidence in Alvin. He will serve the people of New York with distinction in this new role. His team will have the full support of the criminal division. Thank you on behalf of the entire criminal division here at the Attorney General's office.
Thanks, Kelly. So the executive order was signed yesterday. As of today, it is in effect, and we have already been in touch with our colleagues around the state. They have contact information for any case that appears to fall within the parameters of the executive order, and we look forward to proceeding carefully, to proceeding thoroughly, and to proceeding impartially. It is my great hope that we have very little work to do between now and the time that the legislature and the governor craft a permanent solution to this problem, but we are prepared to handle whatever comes. I have great confidence in the team, and as an office, our commitment to restoring public confidence in the quintessential American understanding of equal justice under law, this basic compact between the government and the people, is absolutely strong. It is our bedrock. It is what this office is built on, and it is what this new unit is based on. So with that, if you'll identify yourselves to Matt, we'll take some on-topic questions.
I'm Matt Chase. I'm from Newsday. First question is, what's the notification mechanism? How do you find out there's been a police-involved shooting? And second of all, do you guys do the actual frontline investigation? If not, how do you know that the investigation by the local PD is not going to be so tainted as to corrupt a potential prosecution?
So the governor's order directs that we supersede the local prosecutor. We supersede the district attorney. There already are existing protocols all across the state for how the local law enforcement officers who are the first on the scene, and it could be a local police department, it could be police from one of our public authorities, it could be a state police officer. There are protocols for contacting the local prosecutor immediately. The local prosecutors have the ability to contact our unit 24 hours a day. They'll immediately be in touch, and we will go to the scene with them, make the determination as to whether or not a case is under our jurisdiction or under their jurisdiction. From then on, if it falls within our jurisdiction, we will supervise the investigation. We will have lawyers and investigators on the scene. We will work with the local law enforcement authorities. This order does not supersede the local police, but we will play the role the district attorney's office now plays, but with a commitment to having all of the care and resources and additional attention that we spoke about yesterday when the executive order was announced.
So if it's like 3 in the morning, your staff will fly in the middle of the night to wherever?
We will know about it, and depending on what location it is in the state, we can deploy people from any of, we have big offices in New York City and in Albany. We have an office in Brooklyn, an office in Harlem. We also have 13 other regional offices, Mineola and Hauppauge, in your part of our beautiful state.
So sure, clearly you had this team ready to roll. Do you think it would have been better for the appearances of justice if this executive order was issued 6 months ago when you requested it?
Well, I thought it was a good idea to set this up as an interim step. judgment of the governor and the legislature was that they really thought they could give it a try to craft a long-term legislative solution, which is a shared goal by everyone involved in this process. We're here now, and we're proceeding forward.
Marla Diamond with WCBS Radio. The family members that were at the announcement yesterday were supportive, but they did say that the executive order does not fulfill the governor's commitment to encompass all police-related civilian deaths. Can you just talk about that?
No, I don't know. I'm not privy to whatever conversations they had with the governor. My suggestion at the outset was that we deal with the issue of homicides or fatalities. It may or may not be homicides. We deal with cases of deaths of unarmed civilians at the hands of the police. It was expanded to include cases in which there is a serious question as to whether a civilian was armed and dangerous. That is the primary cause of the erosion of public confidence, because in those cases, the victim is not available to tell their side of the story. So that was my focus, and what exactly went into the thinking of the governor and his council in drafting the order as they did, I don't know.
Or would you like to see it go further? I mean, if they want, any police-involved shooting.
We will follow the mandate of the order as it exists now, and this does not preclude the governor from superseding. Understand that under the executive law, the governor can supersede in any case at any time. He can direct a special prosecutor be designated for any case at any time. He has done something very unusual with this order, which is to take a whole category of cases and designate me as special prosecutor and enable me to set up this unit to handle a category of cases, which in this area I think is the right way to handle it. Then we can have people, for investigators and attorneys, who have particular expertise that can be brought to bear no matter where in the state an incident occurs.
Governor last night on the radio said that he doesn't think there's going to be any conflict with other district attorneys. Do you feel the same way? What are the things that you're doing to try and alleviate any concerns that the DA's have?
Well, I'm going to later today to a conference with all the district attorneys of the state to meet with them and talk about this. We've already provided them with the 24-hour-a-day contact information. Look, the district attorneys in the state of New York are extremely dedicated professionals. You're talking about a group of people, most of whom are career prosecutors, who could be making a lot more money in private practice, who really want to do right by the people they represent. We expect the cooperation of the district attorneys. And in fact, if you read the order, it essentially directs us to cooperate, because we have to sort out, and it's in both of our interests to sort out which cases fall within their jurisdiction and which cases fall within my jurisdiction. So we're going to be working closely with them on each of these matters. And again, I hope we have no business. I hope we have none of these incidents prior to the legislature and the governor coming up with a permanent fix. To the extent we do, I'm confident we'll have the cooperation of the district attorneys and of local law enforcement across the state.
The mechanism for when there's a dispute over whether or not a civilian is armed and dangerous, how dependent are you guys going to be on the police department to do that? Police departments to conduct that piece of the investigation?
Well, this order does not supersede any law enforcement agency other than the district attorney. So if, and New York is a very diverse array of law enforcement agencies that get involved in these cases. We have special police for the Port Authority, we have special police for the Department of Environmental Conservation, we have sheriff's departments. So whatever the agencies are that are looking at the matter, that are the first on the scene, we will be working with. Those protocols do not change. Often in smaller jurisdictions, they reach out to the state police for assistance. But we will have our own investigators and lawyers on the scene to supervise and ensure that things are done properly. And if it appears that there are any problems, we can address them. The executive order, by the way, also does provide that we should make reports on what we find in situations where there is no a grand jury declines to indict or we do not seek an indictment, and that we make recommendations for systemic changes as we proceed through this process.
Roughly how many people are going to be staffing the unit?
The problem with this particular question is that we will staff it with as many people as we need. I hope we will not need many people, because I hope we will not have fatalities. But we will provide as much, whatever resources are necessary, we will provide. It's not a huge amount of money in the context of the budget of the state of New York, but we're certainly not going to tell any family, you're not getting all the resources we need because we have a budget problem. That's not going to happen under my watch.
How much money have you guys dedicated?
That, again, we it's an open-ended question. We've got people who are ready to go. Hopefully, they will be sitting by the phone with very little to do because there won't be any fatalities, and we will staff up as we need to.
Attorney General, initially you had said that you wanted this to be just unarmed, and advocates have been pushing for taking that criteria away, just to cover everyone. Now it's a question of whether the person is armed or dangerous. So how do we determine whether someone is armed or dangerous? Would this cover, for instance, someone who has a carrying license or a carrying permit, doesn't necessarily have a gun now?
No, actually, the way the order is drafted it's pretty clear what the standard is and what the mechanism is. In addition to people who clearly are unarmed, if there is a serious question as to whether or not they are armed and dangerous, then our office has jurisdiction over the case, and that determination is to be made by my office. Our special unit will determine that, and the order is essentially designed so we'll err on the side of over-inclusion. If it appears that there's a serious question as to whether or not they might have been armed, that case will come within our jurisdiction also.
And is there any statistics of previous years statewide that show how many cases you may end up dealing with? Obviously, coroner injuries received a lot of attention, but there are people that die in the hands of police.
Right. Fortunately, it is a very small number of cases. The cases of armed, even the cases of people who are armed, it's a very small number of cases, and we hope, consistent with the reduction in crime we've seen across the state in recent years, this is an area that has gone down as well, and we look forward to it continuing to go down.
Last one on this. Clearly, these cases have become very high profile, gone beyond simply law enforcement questions to being much bigger questions. You taking on these cases as a chance to bring these cases from the local jurisdiction to the state now, are you concerned about some of the political consequences of taking on these cases?
No. The Office of New York State Attorney General has thousands of cases that are active at any point in time. We'll handle these cases with all of the care and all of the integrity that they require. I'm going to be involved in making sure that Alvin and the rest of the team have what they need. Kelly Donovan, the head of the criminal division, and the rest of the criminal division are committed to that. But these are going to be handled responsibly, impartially, and with hopefully as little fanfare as possible.
Any other topics?
Another follow-up for you. Do you take police union contributions, and if you do, will you stop to do this?
I think I have gotten some contributions from police unions. I don't see any conflict with that. It's a very small portion of the fundraising in which one must engage to run for statewide office.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you all.